Welcome to the WrestleMania 42 post show right here on Lock 22.
Welcome.
Brother, look, it's the season 4 finale. We have a new logo, we have new colors, we have new everything.
Yes.
But this felt like more of the same that we've been watching for the last 4 months, and not in a good way.
Well, the overall WrestleMania experience is felt anticlimactic. Is that an understatement?
Yeah, no, I think that's
Disappointing.
spot on.
It feels as if we've been watching a couple episodes of Raw and SmackDown setting up angles for a pay-per-view. That's almost what it seems like.
That doesn't exist. Look,
rather than given the stories that the fans wanted, it's like they're trying to build heat for the future. I don't know.
We did get a couple of news stories going into WrestleMania weekend at a couple of the indie events. I want to cover one in specific. It sounds like GCW, Josh Barnett, has pulled the plug on Bloodsport. This is notable because this is the one GCW event WWE talent was allowed to work, and now it's gone.
Yes.
At least for now. I do want to talk about this with you, and maybe this is for a different show, but it does feel like part of this is to do with the fact that they're not going to be able to do a Mania show next year because it's going to be in Saudi. Yeah. And none of these indies are going to Saudi. Like, none of them.
They wouldn't be allowed in, I'm sure.
They might run Las Vegas again. They might run LA. They might run some big shows somewhere. There might be like an indie con, so to speak, somewhere in the US. Maybe it'll be spread out. I don't know. I think it makes more sense to do it all in one spot. But look, the ripple effects of Mania going to Saudi next year have not yet been felt. They will be felt next year, and they may be felt for the 2 or 3 years after that, because people do not realize how big of a week and weekend that is historically for professional wrestling, for indie wrestling. They're going to be feeling that for 5-6 years from now. So this whole thing's a mess.
Yeah, it is. And it's very hard to predict. Who knows how the political situation will factor in. It may not be safe next year to send American athletes to Saudi Arabia.
Well, even beside that, let's just say, even if they try to bring it back to the States now, it's almost too late.
Yeah.
Because this year, had they done it before Mania this year, maybe you could have made the argument that let's just move it back to the States.
Mm-hmm.
That it may be safe, it may not be safe, we don't know. Let's just move it back to the States, announce it for New Orleans or LA or wherever, or God forbid they do Vegas again. If this should be the last Vegas WrestleMania for 30 years. It should be.
Yeah.
Because this show felt cursed in so many ways.
And not by Danhausen.
No, between injuries, TKO kerfuffles, really bad booking.
Yeah.
Horrible decisions all around. And some strange broadcast issues that we're going to get into.
Yes.
So, Russ, let's talk about it. WrestleMania 42. This is your post show for night 2 as well as for night 1, because we did not go live here last night.
Yes.
Russ, immediately when this show went on the air yesterday, I had this sense of, here we go.
Yeah. We survived it, though. We got through
it. Well, yeah, we knew we were going to survive it. It was just a matter of if we were actually going to do this show or not. Would either of us care enough to do this show after it was over? The answer was yes, barely. Look, this is a newsworthy couple of days, right? And that's why we're talking about it. It's a newsworthy couple of days, but there's not a lot of positive to take away from this.
The company is really floundering, aren't they, still?
The direction, there doesn't seem to be a direction right now. So let's get into it. This show starts with a cold open narrated by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which is notable because Lin-Manuel Miranda is not aligned with the current administration at all. And it seems like WWE is going more towards people and talent and stars who are, like, if they're going to bring in somebody from the outside, it's going to be somebody who's aligned with the administration. Miranda is not that, so that is interesting.
Yes.
And I actually thought he did an awesome job with that.
Yes.
Who knows? Then we started the show with a 6-man tag match, and we would very quickly find out that this match was short, but it wouldn't be the only one that was short on night one. The Usos and LA Knight against The Vision and I Show Speed. Logan Paul, Austin Theory representing The Vision here. The remnants of The Vision. What remains of The Vision. This match goes 7 minutes. Little did we know that would be the average match time on this show. Little did we know.
Unbelievable. Almost a 4-hour show. Unbelievable. They could have easily done this both the nights of these in one night. In a 4-hour show or less. Yeah. Easily. The
baby faces won.
Right.
I Show Speed turned babyface.
Right. He he's learned how to do a few moves. He didn't look completely lost, completely horrible. Fortunately, they did not let him do too much because I'm sure probably isn't that much he can do. But
probably not.
The fact that they had him being rescued by the Usos means that he's going to be sticking around for a while. We're probably going to see more of him.
We then had an unsanctioned match.
Right. This was a huge disappointment to me.
Okay, I'm only going to mention this once. There was 6 to 7 minutes of ads in between every match here.
Yep.
So when I say, and then we had insert match here, I mean, and then we had 6 minutes of ads and then we had a match.
Yeah.
So we have 6 minutes of ads. We come back. It's McIntyre and Fatu. These two did everything they could to try to make this match good, understanding the fact that they were on ESPN2 and there was going to be natural limitations with that.
Correct.
ESPN2 has very strict limitations, far more than the app does, and certainly more than Netflix does.
As far as like getting color, you mean? That kind of thing. Well,
they pretty much weren't.
Well, then don't open up a toolbox and beat a guy across the head with a wrench if you're not supposed to get color, because it looks fucking stupid.
Or do this match later in the show. Don't put this match on ESPN2.
This was a horrible. I tell you what, Drew McIntyre was treated like a piece of dog shit. Jacob Fatu walked out after a unsanctioned match, barely sweating, not breathing hard, not even limping, not selling anything. This was a colossal waste of talent.
Now, I would like to point out, before this show even started, this was the other thing I meant to mention. Andreas Hale, who had ripped the WWE for the Janelle Grant story and had given letter grades to WWE in the past, was banned from WrestleMania this year.
ESPN reporter, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And he's done good work. He's done very good work. This is not on him. I think they banned him because he's not a...
They revoked his credentials.
Because he's covered AEW in the past. That's why they banned him, I think. But if they were going to do that, they'd have to ban almost every journalist.
Yes, they would, to be fair.
Anyway, this show moves along. We move on to the ESPN app proper.
Correct.
And it doesn't get much better from here, Uncle Russ.
Well, we were kind of dreading this fatal four-way women's title match, tag team title match.
Now, this is one match I say, thank God they kept it short.
Yeah.
So it's the Irresistible Forces defending their tag titles. That's Nia and Lash against Charlotte and Alexa, Bayley and Lyra, and supposed to be the Bella Twins.
Correct. However.
Well, everybody comes out. They hit the Bella's music. The crowd does not care.
No.
One iota.
No.
When Nikki announces she's not cleared to compete, they cheer.
Go figure.
Which,
Now, do you think the one that wrestled is the better wrestler? Correct.
yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Who is Bree?
yes, Bryan Danielson's wife.
Correct.
And Nikki says, unfortunately, I'm not medically cleared to compete. The crowd pops.
That's not a good sign.
Not a good sign. It gets better from here, though, because she says, I went and found an old friend. They hit Paige's music. This got reported the night before that Paige had signed a multi-year deal with WWE and was likely to return at WrestleMania as Bree's tag partner. She does. And not only does Paige return and tag with Brie Bella here, she gets the pop of the night by a mile.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
very much so.
Other than something we're going to talk about, another surprise we'll talk about in a minute, that didn't get leaked. This surprise got leaked, and this still got a massive pop.
Right.
The surprise that didn't get leaked, I would argue, got a bigger one, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
It was good to see her
Brie,
back, and I hope that she's successful. I enjoyed the work she did in the company before, very much so.
We did not like her in AEW, though.
No, well, they really didn't use her properly, and I know that she went through some hard times, and she got hooked up with old Alberto Del wife beater, and
Alberto Del wife beater.
Well,
and then Ronnie Radke after that. Let's not act like Ronnie Radke's any better.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate, and I'm glad she looks better, and I hope that she's happy and healthy. And she comes from a really good wrestling family. If you got a chance to watch any of those old matches, they're fun. Her mom was awesome.
Well, anyway, Brie and Paige end up getting the win. Yeah. Paige actually didn't do a whole lot here, but what she did looked a lot better than anything she did in AEW.
I agree.
And she hasn't wrestled in about a year and a half, so
but she looks healthier and happier than the last time we saw her in AEW.
Well, yeah, agree? But I do agree, but not dating Ronnie Radke will do something for you.
Well, I've
or Alberto Del Shithead.
Yeah, I never dated him myself, but I believe you.
Lead singer of Falling in Reverse and notable shitbag.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that name. Yeah, but there was a very important right after this match, though. There was a very important development, which I think where they're developing their future talent. I think they're setting up a tag team match for maybe SmackDown. We're going to have the advertising mascots. I think we're going to have Drumstick Cone Man and the General. Let's put them up against Jelly Roll and Ice Show Speed.
Don't give them ideas.
Yeah.
Are you insane?
And they could have the little Mandalorian puppet there too. He was hanging around. They had a lot of that shit in between matches, tons of it. Not just the ads, but tons and tons and tons of celebrities.
If it weren't for the ads, I wouldn't have minded the celebrity stuff. I really wouldn't. If it weren't for the ads, I would not have, because every major sports league does that. I don't mind it, but
and it's the same way every time. I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
They tell you, but you almost don't care at that point.
Right.
Anyway, that match went 8.5 minutes. That tag match. And it was a clusterfuck.
Why so short? Why so short?
I mean, that match needed to be short. You had somebody you're trying to protect in there. Well, actually 3 people if you count Nia and Lash.
Yeah.
That you're trying to hide, so. And why Bayley and Lyra didn't win. I have to think the original plan was for Bayley and Lyra to win. But they changed it because they knew Paige was going to come back and be so fucking over that if they pinned her, the building might have exploded. So, yeah. We then had AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This match went 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Becky Lynch gets the win.
Right. And the crowd sat on their hands. I noticed that the crowd reaction wasn't super. through a lot of the show, but I was amazed at how many people you saw this sitting there, not standing, not clapping, not cheering, doing nothing.
This is what happens when you price out your dedicated audience.
Oh yeah, good point. Very good point. But this is also where I first noticed the perennial green shirt guy there in the front row, who I don't know who that dude is, but he must be a very wealthy individual.
He's been gone for quite a while.
Has he?
He had been. He wasn't there at the Rumble. He wasn't there at the Chamber, but he's back now.
Yeah. Well, I was
He made his return here.
Green shirt guy.
This match only went 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
And
why so short?
And then also coupled with very lengthy entrances. AJ Lee got a very lengthy entrance with a lot of kids that were dancing, and
Becky got a live music entrance.
Correct. What the Love Bites? A lot of little kids though. The camera knew which kids were which too, because I noticed the cameraman. They're good at this at WWE. There was one kid in particular that they zoomed in on her face. I don't know, she looked like she's about 10, 12 years old, but you could tell by the way she knew exactly where the camera was and how to look into it. And I thought, that kid right there in the group, that's the one that wants to be on TV. She's the one that's got the instinct. I thought it was interesting. All the rest of them looked like they were having fun. She looked like she was auditioning for a job.
Becky and AJ, actually, I think this match was better than their Chamber match.
Yeah, much better.
And I thought they should have let this go. This should have been 15 minutes.
It could have been.
This was way better than the match they had at the Chamber. Like a world better. And this is the thing you're going to hear me say a lot. None of these matches that we're complaining about are the wrestler's fault.
No.
The performers on this show on both nights did everything they could.
Excellent.
Within the limitations that they were given. And we're not attacking the wrestlers here. That is not what we're doing. You'll know when I'm doing that, and I'm going to do it for one match on either show, and you'll see.
There you go. This also was Becky got into it with the referee, who I forget the name of that referee.
Jessica Carr.
Yeah, and she's gotten into it with Becky a little bit before, but not this physical. I don't know.
They're teasing a match with those two, and I hope they do it.
I think so, because that means that referee must be trained to wrestle too, which is
she
great.
is. She has been for almost a year, or for over a year.
I like to see what she can do.
I mean, she's in good shape. Jessica Carr's in really good shape, and she would not be the first referee to turn wrestler. She would not. We've seen wrestlers turn referees and referees turn wrestlers. It's happened before. She wouldn't be the first one. She won't be the last.
Even Jeff Jarrett started as a referee.
Right. Now, Jessica's been around for a long time. That might be the only hang up, but I don't know. We then had the best match of night one. Seth Rollins and Gunther.
Yeah. And how long did this one go? Not long enough.
Unbelievably, this is the only match other than the unsanctioned match in the main event that went longer than 10 minutes. Unbelievably. This went 17 minutes and 52 seconds.
It was awesome.
And I would argue it was still too short.
It was the best match of the night.
And it was still too short.
That being said, you and I have both had criticism of the way the match was thrown together and the storyline, the way they backed it up, because
they didn't wrestle like it.
No, they didn't. They overcame that, because if they booked it honestly, they would have called this the match between two guys that are on top that aren't currently hurt. And that's why they got put together out of necessity. But they really made the best of it. This was far and away the best match of the night. I agree 100%, and I think most people would.
Russ, it was at this point in the night that I texted you. Show's getting long, buddy.
Yeah. Right. Oh, we forgot to mention Seth Rollins' smoking jacket.
Oh yeah, Seth Rollins' jacket looked like he just had joint slit all over the inside of that jacket.
It was leaking smoke, man.
And
It's like, hey,
Braun
can I get a
Breaker
light?
Braun Breaker would return as the referee was down checking on Gunther, who just got curb stomped off the announce table. And Breaker would return, spear Rollins. That would set up for the finish with Gunther choking Seth out. Seth would pass out, not tap out. Gunther gets a win at WrestleMania. Gunther needed a win.
Yes.
Yes,
he did. He needed it bad. And it was not a horrible loss for Seth because, there's something about that passing out rather than I still didn't tap out. I didn't say I quit. So, they can use that type of a finish if they're smart.
And now we get into where I'm probably going to go on a rant.
Oh, this was horrible. What a disappointment. This could have been such a great
And
match.
it is not these ladies' fault that this ended up this way.
Nope.
So we get the second longest ad break of the night, followed by Stephanie Vaquer defending her title against Liv Morgan. This is the one match that they had the fewest stumbling blocks on. This and Brock and Oba are the two matches that they did not fuck up immeasurably in the build-up. They fucked up the finish, though. They had built this as the co-main event of night one. They had built this as one of the most important women's matches of the last 10 years, blah, 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 blah.
It didn't feel that way, though.
Not with the way they booked it, no.
No.
This match got a whopping 6 minutes and 51 seconds. This is the co-main event of night one of WrestleMania, and it got 6 minutes and 51 seconds.
And then, we had expressed hope about the possibility of them winding down the Judgment Day group, which is really getting old and unoriginal. But instead, here's Roxanne, here's Raquel, here's Dominic, here's the whole dang clubhouse. And
except for JD.
Correct. But he had other things to focus on.
And so did Dominic. To be fair.
Correct.
This was setting up to be the second best match on this show. And then it just ended. And my frustration with this comes twofold. Because clearly these are two of your top females, probably your two top females on Raw. Because Rhea's going to SmackDown now. Rhea's going to SmackDown.
Correct.
Rhea's on SmackDown now.
All right.
You do not have Rhea to buoy Monday Night Raw anymore.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Liv and Stephanie are your two top girls on Raw. Other than EO.
Let's hope they do something with them. There she is. And, she was looking beat up, though, that night because she still had a little bit of that big old pop. She had a pop down on her head that about as big as a damn orange,
Yeah, she did.
And she still had a little bit of a black eye, too.
Liv has come such a long way in the ring.
Nobody could say she doesn't work stiff.
And she does this gimmick she has right now, hematoma. Yeah. Nobody can say that
subdural.
Nobody can say that Liv doesn't nail this gimmick she has right now. For whatever you think of the gimmick, she's doing it the best it can be done, probably.
Yeah. Now you want to talk about the Bad Advice song? You want to talk about this song? Like, how long was the match? Because the musical segment was about 9 fucking minutes.
It was actually 4, but
it felt like it was 9-10 minutes. I swear to God. See.
Oh no, we're gonna get into. I wanted to keep that in mind because I do have the entrance times for the night 2 main event, and you're gonna be blown away. 6 minutes and 51 seconds was the match.
Oh, all right. The song wasn't 10 minutes long. It just felt like it. Like I
Yeah, it was
said,
bad.
I'm not gonna say I entirely hate that subgenre of that type of pop music. I just don't like it done by her.
And I texted you, look, I love Liv. I have been pounding the table for Liv Morgan to get more for years.
Right?
And it finally seems like they're doing that.
Yeah.
It's very stop and start, but it finally seems like they're doing it.
And let's hope
And
she
thank
stays-
God Rhea's on SmackDown, so we don't have to watch another 17 Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley matches.
Right. And let's really hope that she stays healthy. And you know, because the stuff they do, their injury, the injuries they're risking are just not even normal organ injuries anymore. They do stuff that could get you killed.
We then had what felt like 45 minutes of stalling.
You talking about Mr. Cena, the host of the show?
Cena comes out. Well, first of all, there was an ad break.
Right. And then they got to come up and try to spin the attendance numbers, which is a spin. It's always a spin.
It's always a spin, but night one's spin is much less offensive than night two's, and we will talk about that.
Yeah. Well, Cena, has he ever looked more like a square than he does now? My God, he looked.
Oh my God.
He looked as square as Ward Cleaver, and he comes out there walking. He looks like a game show host. He looks like a cross between Bob Barker and Wink Martindale. And just, I don't, and he looks like I got to try my damnedest to be. His whole attitude was like, "This is so great. Isn't this awesome? This is WrestleMania. This is as good as it gets. Come on, everybody. Yeah."
So John's out there, and he announces the attendance number, and thankfully he gets cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca's music hits. Bianca Belair's music hits. And I think not only was this the loudest pop of the night, but that also sounded like the biggest sigh of relief, like all at once,
Yeah.
you will ever fucking hear.
Mm-hmm.
Just oh, thank God you're here. Save us, please.
Exactly.
Update. She was not here to save anybody. Not her job.
And she, boy, that outfit she was had on, man, that was gorgeous. That was beautiful. That was stunning. Stunning.
Great outfit.
Yes.
She comes out.
Classy.
And it actually felt like she was about to cut a promo on Cena for a second.
Yeah. Which the people would have loved.
And I wouldn't have been surprised if she did. But she didn't do that. Instead, she announces that she is with child. She looked like she was like, what, 3 months along, probably?
Probably, yeah, about that. I think she's married to one of them street profits, isn't she?
Montez Ford.
Thank you. And how come were they on TV no more? What happened to them? That's beside the point, but it just happened to remember. They got all these great talent they never, ever use.
Some of them they never will.
Right.
So she's gone for another year.
Right.
Is basically what we should have taken out of this.
Right. Then we had to get a bunch of ads. Cody, got all the Cody Rhodes ads. We got the Wheatley vodka ads. And we got the trailer for the, what is it, Street Fighter? How many wrestlers are in that damn movie? Quite a few.
Roman, Cody, I think Miz is in there. I don't know. I think Punk's in there.
I was most excited to see Eric Andre as the announcer. I thought that's what I'd like to see. Anyway, moving on.
We then got to the night one main event, and boy, do I have a lot to say here.
Say it.
I want to point out we are 30 minutes into this show, and we are barely done with night one, and I still have AEW stuff I want to talk about. If you were planning on this show being a short recap, you're watching the wrong show. Watching the wrong show. Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And we finally get to the main event. And I'm thinking, okay, they can save this. If anybody can save this, it's these two. And they came that close to saving it. Usos.
Yeah. They just
These
didn't
two
quite get
almost
there.
single-handedly saved this show. Or they tried. This was not the best match on the show.
One thing that helped is we dreaded the celebrity interference and participation throughout the match. So fortunately, they got that out of the way real quick. Pat McAfee.
Jelly Roll put McAfee through a table.
All right, and then now we can focus on Randy Orton, and we don't have to feel their cloying, pleasant presence anymore.
Now,
Mr. Orton.
up until the ref bump, which is this match is 22 minutes. I would estimate that was about 18 minutes in.
We knew there had to be a ref bump.
Well, yeah, it's a Cody Rhodes match.
Yes.
Up until the ref bump, I actually thought this match was really good. The storytelling here was really well done for the most part. And there wasn't any really stupid hokey spots yet. There would be. And everything just kind of made sense for the first 18 minutes. And I think it kind of went as you expected, right? For the first 18 minutes.
Yeah. And
once Pat got taken out.
It was well paced.
And it was well paced, and they weren't moving too slow. But the last 4.5 minutes of this match moved at the pace of a snail.
Well, when we saw the referee bump, we're thinking, oh, here we go. Here comes some horse shit.
Here comes some not so happy horse shit. And Randy RKO's Cody. Pat runs down in a neck brace and a striped t-shirt looking like a zebra.
Yep.
Starts to count for Randy. Cody kicks out.
Counting, I might notice, very noticeably, very deliberately counting slow. Do you notice how slow his count was? What was that about? Was that just him being
Give him time to kick out? That was a botch. He wasn't supposed to count that slow. Anyway, then Cody kicks Randy in the balls. Yes. Hits him with a crossroads, wakes up Charles Robinson. 1, 2, 3, that's it.
That's it. Done.
By the way, just before the kick in the balls and the crossroads and all that, Randy Orton RKO's Pat McAfee. Okay. For
yes,
what?
Yes, well, because he was pissed about the count. I was the way I took that. But I don't know if the sense of the storyline flowed quite that smoothly. But in my brain, I was just trying to make sense out of it, and that's what I came up with.
Anyway, Cody hits the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Cody retains the title.
I was not expecting that.
Now, many of you out there are probably asking the same question we were. Why?
Right.
Why? Why is Cody retaining the title?
I don't know.
I have 2 reasons for you, Russ.
Okay.
1, this was the beginning of a double turn.
Yes, they did hint definitely a more heelish, violent, ruthless Cody.
They did not finish the double turn here, but it did feel like maybe they were starting it.
Yeah.
And if that's not the case, 2, I think they just made the decision that it was better for business for Cody to keep the title.
Yeah.
Which I don't know that I disagree with them on that on the surface. And I know people are booing him and whatever.
He's used to that.
But people are still buying his t-shirts.
Yeah, they are. It's nowhere near as severe as sharp the turn was in AEW. When that crowd turned on him, it was pretty much go away heat.
People are still singing his song.
Yeah, buying his merch.
Buying his merch. He's getting a reaction. And they always say in wrestling, doesn't matter if you cheer me or you boo me as long as you're reacting in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they legitimately just thought, we're just going to keep it on Cody. We're just going to play it safe.
Well, we'll see what they do with that.
It's possible. There may be something in Randy's contract that we don't know about. Maybe Randy's going to be part-time. Maybe they didn't want 2 part-time champions. Again, that might be what this is. And if that's what this is, then maybe you shouldn't have booked the match. But it does feel like the reported Jelly Roll, Cody Rhodes, Pat McAfee, Randy Orton tag match might be out the window.
Yeah.
That might be done. Because
that's fine.
Since Orton lost, let's not forget the stipulation was Pat McAfee can never show his face again.
Right.
So
we'll see how long that lasts.
Hopefully. Not like he'd want to anyway.
Right.
But if this is the last we ever see of Pat McAfee, goodbye, good riddance, never come back.
Yeah, stay in your wheelhouse there. Talk about sports over there on Netflix now.
ESPN.
There's moving to his show's moving to Netflix, believe it or not.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Pat McAfee is moving to Netflix, which is strange with all this other WWE stuff going on and all this weird shit going on between ESPN and TKO.
There's some people in ESPN that are hot right now.
Oh, well, they bought a turd.
Oh. Russ, let's talk about night 1 as a whole. I would give this show a D.
Me too. Solid D. The good matches in it kept it from being an F. Believe me, if it hadn't been for Seth Rollins and
Gunther.
Yes, Gunther. The night would have been a complete loss.
Again, the performers are not at fault for this low grade, and
Absolutely.
Very rarely are they. It's usually the booking that,
I agree.
Gets these things tossed in the turd bucket. And night 1 was absolutely a turd. Russ,
the people that only bought tickets for night 2 were probably relieved.
Russ, I want your thoughts coming out of night 1 and then heading into night 2. What was your thought when you woke up this morning? Oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah, I thought, oh shit, we go again. But I also know that it couldn't get much worse. So I had a little grain of optimism. I was rested up, and it was a better show. It was far from perfect. It had a lot of the same booking problems. The pacing is like death,
Night 2's pacing felt better.
Yeah.
D.
We had 6 matches as opposed to 7, but only 6 on the and the matches overall were better. There was one match here that I thought was an absolute stinker.
What match was that? Oh, well, we'll talk about it.
That would be the IC title match.
Really? I thought that was the best match on the show.
You got to be kidding me. I didn't like it. But we'll talk about it when we get there. Let's do them in order.
They did the same cold open again, same from the night before. We had Joe Jonas singing America the Beautiful.
Right.
Guarantee they won't be singing that next year. Get the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we got right into John Cena saying "Welcome to WrestleMania" and looking like a total square,
right?
Which
and overselling everything.
Man, I really don't think they got their money's worth on him because he only showed up twice on each show.
Yeah. And then people are like, "Oh yeah, it's John Cena," and they're like, "Yeah, okay, whatever."
We then had maybe my favorite Brock Lesnar match ever.
Yes, definitely.
Maybe the best Brock Lesnar match ever. And potentially his last also.
It sure looks like it.
Let's talk about it, Russ. This match was 4 minutes, 46 seconds, so just about 5 minutes. That's what it should have been. This should not have been a 20-minute match.
It was good.
And for the 4 minutes and 46 seconds I had to watch it, it was really, really good. And these two beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. And Oba looks so strong. And Brock Lesnar, pardon me, he gave as good as he got. But after about 4 minutes, he did what I never thought he would do. He put Obafemi over. He went off
Big.
Flat on his back.
Clean. No. Yeah. Heyman didn't even get involved once. Heyman didn't have time to get involved.
A clean, decisive pin with no out for Lesnar. And then what followed after that was quite
This was shocking.
Well, quite amazing to see.
This was shocking. Oba looked surprised. Oba sold this like $1 million. Like, holy shit, I beat fucking Brock Lesnar. What the fuck? And Brock lays there for a minute. He sits up, looks at the mat, looks at his gloves, undoes one glove.
Gave him the F5, though. He did give him one F5, remember?
That Oba just completely no-sold.
Right, exactly. And Oba just rolled out then. Yeah, and then
he undoes one glove, sits there for another minute, undoes his other glove, takes him off, sets him down, starts crying. Crocodile tears, I'm sure. Sorry, we're not Brock Lesnar fans here. If you want Brock Lesnar fans, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And takes his boots off. Heyman is sobbing because his cash cow is leaving.
One of them, right?
Yeah.
The biggest one, right?
The biggest cash cow he's ever had. They hug.
Right.
They kind of
leaves his boots in the ring.
Leaves his boots and his gloves in the ring, and they were chanting "Thank you, Brock," as this segment ended. And I walked away from this segment thinking, that was it.
I'm thinking that was a pretty good ending. I
don't know how you can do that better. Is the thing. You can't top that.
Right. It was.
But my whole thinking is they booked SummerSlam in Minneapolis specifically for him.
Okay, so what's going to happen now? There's something fishy here going on here.
So either he just fucked them,
right? Or there's a storyline going here, yeah.
Or there's a storyline.
A swerve, if you will.
Now, do I think it's possible, knowing how Brock Lesnar is, and knowing that Brock Lesnar is an asshole, and knowing that Brock Lesnar has no real respect for anybody but himself, do I think it's possible that Brock Lesnar showed up today and said to Triple H and to old ass kisser Bruce and Regal and everybody and Hayes and whoever, well, I'm wrapping up. I'm going home. I'm going to go out looking at the lights tonight, and I'll see you guys at the Hall of Fame and probably never again after that. And this is it.
Yeah, it looks that way. Like I said.
Do I think it's possible that Brock Lesnar did that?
Yeah, yes. It's possible.
Do I think it's likely that Brock Lesnar did that? No. Just because he left on such bad terms the first time. And arguably, really, even the second time he left, because people forget he did leave for a second time.
Right.
He's left 3 times, not counting this one. This is his 4th time leaving.
Okay. Right.
He left once in like 2018 or 2019. Came right back. Just like pretty much instantly came right back. He left during the pandemic. Actually, no. He left in 2004. Then again in 18 or 19, or maybe it was before that. I can't remember. He left in the mid 2010s.
All right. Yeah.
Then he came back. Then the pandemic happened and he left again. Then he comes back And then he leaves again because of the Janelle Grant stuff.
And who knows why he's leaving now? Who knows? But, or if he is, well, it's going to have to wait and see. I thought it was a great match. Just a little confusing where they're going from here.
I thought it was a great match, but what the hell? Anyway, we then had a match Russ didn't like that I really liked.
I thought
the six-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
Great wrestlers here. Did you think Penta would win, retain the IC title?
I kind of figured it would be him or JD, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was hoping JD. You know, I like seeing JD work, and also Dragon Lee. Javon Evans is fantastic. Greensboro's greatest, I call him, and I would like to see him do more. We don't get to see enough of him in a match like this. And my other major complaint that made me not appreciate this match is I've always had a problem in general with guys as big as Rusev being in ladder matches. It's not as bad as someone like Kane, but overall, it just doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
I thought it was a bad idea putting Ray in there. He's been gone for almost a year with an ankle injury.
And did not really do a whole lot, did
he? He probably couldn't.
Yeah. You know, and, but you enjoyed this one a lot, unlike myself.
I enjoyed Javon Evans being completely insane.
Yeah. I would love to see him in more singles matches, even at the pay-per-view level, but I guess the time isn't quite yet.
We then had Sami Zayn against Trick Williams for the United States title, and the crowd hated this.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought they had built this up a little bit more, but the execution didn't quite work out, did it?
I'm not going to talk about this match too much because
I felt like, Trick Williams was definitely going to win, but they're going to have a hard time. I don't know. Sami Zayn as a heel, they're booing him anyway. I guess he might as well be a heel. But I'm a little confused about this one myself.
Well, Trick wins the title. Lil Yachty takes a bump, which I think was maybe the surprise of the night.
Lil Yachty's the only celebrity guest that I haven't felt like slapping yet.
Well, the crowd hated this until
Right.
Trick won. Then they liked it.
Yes.
Russ, I want to tell you what I think they're setting up for here.
Okay.
I think they're going to turn Sammy heel. They're going to turn the Usos heel.
All right.
Roman is already a heel.
Right. So we're going to get the that all over again, possibly.
Mhm.
Going back to the well one more time, right?
We're going to do this all over again.
Well, I tell you what, we might end up. There's lots of wrestling shows available, especially with streaming. I could conceive of the time when it gets so bad, we just say, at least for the time being, we just ain't going to watch WWE anymore. We're going to watch something else and talk about that. Maybe not forever, but I got to need to take at least 6 months off or something, It's possible, isn't it?
Okay, do you know what would send me over the top?
What's that?
If Vince comes back.
That's it.
That would be my line.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't care to participate in that.
We then had a bunch of ads yet again.
A shit ton.
Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor in a street fight. This was really good, by the way.
I thought it was too.
Much better than the unsanctioned match.
I didn't hear, did they reference the mask, the El Santo?
Yeah, they did.
It looked like El Santo.
Michael called it greasy. That was the only reference it got.
Oh no, that's a very disrespectful to probably the greatest luchador ever. You know,
Well,
that's
because
guy.
Dom was wearing it. That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah, that guy is bigger in Mexico than Hulk Hogan is here.
Yeah.
I mean, what I should say was.
The Demon finally gets a win.
Yeah, I forgot about all about that demon thing. This was great. It was a short, felt kind of short too.
10.5 minutes. It was too short, and that's my only complaint. And there probably should have been some blood, but other than that,
Right.
granted, there would be a lot of blood later, so I guess I kind of understand why maybe they waited.
Yeah. Save it for the main event so the people.
We then had a match that was shockingly long.
I was surprised about this too.
Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley for the women's title. This was 10 minutes.
Rhea carried it the best she could.
Unbelievably. And Rhea went out there and said, God damn it. This program sucks. This match sucks. I don't want to do this, but fuck if I have to. Let's go.
And that's it. Rhea is able to have a good match with
just about anybody.
Jade Cargill. And we saw very little in the way of interference from B-Fab and Michin. Yeah, hardly any. But
what little interference there was, Io Sky runs down, cuts him off.
Right.
Jade looks like she's going to go for.
We knew that Rhea had to win this,
Yeah, Jade looks like she's going to set up for the finish, for her finish. Rhea rolls out, and what was a really nice reversal of that move.
Yes, it was.
Turns it into a riptide. 1, 2, 3, that's it. Rhea wins the title because she had to, and we get a very nice moment with her and Io Sky after the match.
And then another long break.
Another set of stalling. John Cena, Danhausen, and Miz do some goofy shit.
Don't forget Kip Wilson.
Don't forget Kit Wilson.
Don't forget the Danhausen midgets.
We're not allowed to call them that anymore.
Well, no, they that was their name for themselves. We'll call them the Danhausen little people.
The Little Hausens. And Kit Wilson got punched in the penis, and then Miz did. You don't probably care. Anyway, they lied about the attendance really bad tonight, and I want to point this out. They said 50,000 last night, which was almost like a shade off believable, but not completely out of the realm of possibility. They said 55,000 tonight.
I saw the way they filmed that, you were able to see some sparse sections higher up occasionally. If you blink, you miss it. They did a pretty good job of not photographing above certain angles at the end of the arena, and then in the out, because they weren't sold out, and they wanted to try to make the crowd look a lot more dense than it probably was. I'm not saying it was a small crowd, and I'm not saying they didn't make money. I'm sure they made money. But TKO's bottom line is they're going to say, did you make as much money as you did last year? And if you didn't, well, then we're going to put our fingers in the pie and fix it some more and make it what we think will work. The biggest enemy of pro wrestling has always been the network, always. The people say what killed WCW. The long term, what killed WCW was the poison in the brew from the beginning, the Turner Network. Not Ted Turner, the network. And I tell you what, the company that owns WWE is killing it, in my opinion.
Yep.
Then we get on to, hey, now this took a long time. You kept track of there was a long break, and the entrances didn't start till about 7:40.
Would you like to know the times for each entrance?
Yeah, I'd like to.
I've got them right here. One of my friends who I was watching this show with kept track of this for me.
All right.
Roman's entrance, and he came out first, was 6 minutes and 24 seconds.
All right.
Punk's entrance was 5 minutes and 58 seconds.
All right. Was that with Living Color? With the whole?
That's with everything.
Okay.
That's with the video package thing that they did before that was interlaced with him walking.
Right. So we're about 12 minutes in already before we even get to the ring announcer.
Bell to bell, this match was 34 minutes.
All right.
But I want to point out, and I want to talk about this in depth. I thought this was the best storytelling match of the weekend. In terms of a WrestleMania main event, this was really good. But with that comes the caveat of WWE has a style, and this was a very WWE match.
Yeah, the pacing, the style, the whole feel of it, very much so. This was the WWE style done very well. Like these two did it better than just about anybody all weekend, but they really worked that style. And there's this stupid spot about 10 minutes in where Roman just straight up hits Punk in the face with the stairs. Yeah.
And the group of people I'm watching this with are like screaming for a DQ.
All right. And they're like, why not? Well, because
they're like, what the fuck?
Because it's a WWE title match.
Oh, because it's the main event of WrestleMania.
Right.
The smartest thing they could have done was have Roman get DQ'd.
The only time that referees in WWE do anything that actually makes sense is when it's a part of the storyline. You know, anything the referees do, there's no rule book. I mean, they do whatever's going to fit the story, and usually it's being stupid.
Punk is bleeding like a stuck pig at this point.
Yeah, really juicing.
Roman would start bleeding later. A series of finishers back and forth. Punk hits a Superman punch. Punk goes for a spear. Roman catches him in a guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
This again, they broke both announce tables in separate spots. They did everything they could within the parameters that they were given.
Yes, they did.
This was not a bad match.
No.
By any stretch. This was better than a Raw match or better than a SmackDown match. Definitely better than SmackDown.
Better than the main event on night one.
Definitely.
I believe, by far.
But I don't know that this was better than Seth Gunther.
No, probably not. No, I wouldn't say so.
I don't know that this was better than the ladder match for me. Because at least the ladder match, even for the problems you might have had with it, it was paced much better than this.
Yeah. This slowed down the pace quite a lot. You knew that the show was going to be over a little bit earlier than the previous night with one less match, but they added so much to pad the show out, and you felt like this match was slowly paced to even fill up more time, you know.
Yes.
They're slower than it needed to be.
I will say, CM Punk did an excellent job of selling tonight,
yes.
Which is not always his strongest thing, but he did an excellent job tonight. Roman sold really well tonight as well. And in about 34 minutes, Roman, it took about 4 spears, but he gets the 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is the new World Heavyweight Champion. And well, buddy, here we go again.
Right. The bloodline.
We're going back to the well.
That's right. We'll see what happens. But I imagine they're going to probably already start. I know they've already booked some stuff for Backlash, have they not? Nothing that I've heard of?
Nothing is confirmed.
All right.
For Backlash.
Because there was rumors about a Pat McAfee, Randy Orton tag team match. But if he's never coming back to WWE, that can't happen now, right? And we know that on a pro wrestling show that they would never, ever mislead
Well,
him.
Randy turned on him, though. Randy hit him with the RKO, so Pat's done anyway.
Yeah. So at this point, we don't have any idea about Backlash. But we've got another AEW pay-per-view before then, I believe, coming up here in
Really?
about. We got one coming up here in about 3 or 4 weeks?
Backlash is May 9th, bud.
Oh, that can't be that quick. I thought it was at the end of May. Well, my mistake then. All right.
Double or Nothing is May 24th.
All right, my mistake. Nothing. That's Saturday the 24th, right?
Yeah. So, Russ, generally we would talk about where we think the company is going from here, but this is one of those times where both of us just have to throw our hands up and say, fucking, I don't know. I have no fucking clue.
It's really hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah. I legitimately do not know where we're going. And it is very rare that I can say that, and that is not usually a good thing.
Wonder if there are any surprises that they've saved for Monday Night Raw.
I have to think there are.
I would think so. And hopefully,
and I would think
hopefully it's
some of this is going to get cleared up.
Hopefully it's a wrestler we care about rather than another non-wrestling celebrity. Please.
Or Vince McMahon.
Oh, God, I tell you what. I don't want to see Vince McMahon.
Russ,
I think that about the last 10 years that he did the job he did, he was too old for it. And I think he's definitely too old for this job now.
Russ, let's talk at least a little bit about AEW because there was some news this week out of AEW.
Yeah. Wednesday night.
This is a baffling decision by Tony Khan. I understand why he did it. And it on one level it makes sense, but on the booking side it really doesn't. Darby Allin is the new AEW World Champion.
Right. And we thought it was going to be about maybe not till this summer that happened, that they built to it slowly.
The reason they did it now is because MJF's about to go film a movie. So I guess
and if they knew he was going to film a movie, then like I said, the way they put the title on him and had him lose it this way, I was surprised. Now, I will give Tony Khan credit. He got people talking about AEW wrestling during WrestleMania week.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
That's an achievement.
Yeah.
In and of itself. That's a win right there. Even if this Darby title reign only lasts till next month, which it probably will.
Right.
It's probably over at Double or Nothing.
I was a little surprised at how quickly he won it too. That was only about a 2-3 minute match.
Yeah. Probably because MJF has to go film a movie and they didn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, that's right. Any idea what type of film he is? Any word at all?
They've said what it is, but I don't remember.
I think he'd be pretty good obviously for comedy. But who knows? Yeah. Maybe he could do some dramatic acting too. I mean, he's been a song and dance man since he was a little kid, even before he was a football player.
Well, Russ, I have two hopes for this week. Yes. No more Jelly Roll. And no more Pat McAfee.
That's right. No more Pat McAfee. And I guess I could tolerate little Yachty. He hasn't gotten on my nerves too much yet. But that's enough. No more. No more celebrities. Let's say, if you want to surprise us, bring back a wrestler that we love and care about, that we maybe have forgotten about a little bit. Do something original. Do something that genuinely is going to surprise us. All right, Violent Night 2.
Okay, well.
Thank you, Damon. There you go.
I don't know if that's what they're filming. If that's coming out this year, I can't imagine they're filming that right now, but
that sounds like
maybe
some type of horror film.
It probably is.
All right.
Filming less than a year before release. Okay, that's new. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. But before we do, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of season 4. We're going to be right back here next week. Do not worry.
Yeah.
New logo, new colors, new everything. As always. Thanks to producer Damon. Everybody here at Lock 22.
Hey, brother, we survived it. We got through WrestleMania, and I am relatively sane.
You guys didn't grade night 2.
Oh, we didn't grade night 2.
Thank you. I'm going to give
D.
I'm going to give it a C minus.
I'm going to give it a D.
I'd give it a C minus because I'd also in my which match did I enjoy the most?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it was the opening match. Oba versus Brock was probably the most enjoyment for me personally. I'm not going to say it was the best match, but if I had to pick a favorite, that would be it.
My favorite match of the weekend was Gunther Seth, and it wasn't even close.
Yes. Yep. It's a classic.
Thanks to producer Damon for that reminder.
Thank you.
We're sorry that we're ending season 4 on kind of a low, but when you review this shit, you can't really control how this shit goes. There's that cursed logo that I will always remember as dog shit. All right.
Right. Well, hey, if WWE gets any worse, we could always start watching TNA, or we could watch Women of Wrestling. Oh, I tell you what, if we got to go that far, I'd rather watch old Glow reruns, than that. All right. See ya.
We'll see you next week, folks. Damon, play the fucking music.
Take care.